But now, decline is their policy. That is the focus of tonight's angle. Now, it's been 20 months with Democrats in charge of Congress and the White House, so we thought tonight we'd just ask this question. How are things looking? Well, let's do a quick inventory, shall we? First, the economy is collapsing.
We do begin, though, with our talk of the tape. It is this ugly market. Down again today and sharply after a one-day reprieve, and now fresh concerns about what lies ahead for your money.
We appear to be drifting into war with Russia.
Russian President Vladimir Putin told his people that the U.S. is bent on destroying the Russian homeland. On Wednesday, he drafted 300,000 reservists and threatened nuclear war. This is not a bluff, he said.
And China is threatening the United States. Obviously, that's crime rising across the country. Our schools are failing. Our people are being poisoned by fentanyl.
The greatest threat facing our communities, our families, our children is the cartels, the two cartels in Mexico that are responsible for the vast amount of fentanyl that is in the United States today.
And our borders are undefended.
This is a planned disaster by the Biden administration. It's hurting the entire country.
Now, faced with all these facts, the Biden regime has decided to focus on three priorities. Number one, find a way to indict Donald Trump for anything. Number two, find a way to blame Ron DeSantis for the harm resulting from a hurricane. And number three, try to get, the midterm voters to choose more abortions over restoring prosperity and safety. No wonder populism is booming everywhere. No wonder most of the watch races that were close or leaning Democrat just a few weeks ago are now either toss-ups or leaning Republican. Now, I want you to look at Wisconsin, where incumbent Senator Ron Johnson, who was supposedly in a weak position a few weeks back, is now up 5 against Mandela Barnes. Or Tim Michels, who's in essentially a dead heat with incumbent liberal Tony Evers and the governor's race there. And then Dr. Oz, well, he's closing in on Mr. Hoodie without a clue, John Fetterman. He's only down by 4. So people are waking up, not just to the wreckage that the Democrats and their policies have left behind, but I think now more of you are starting to ask, is all this intentional? Or as Texas State AG, you just heard him say, Ken Paxton, he called the border nightmare a planned disaster. Now remember, even before Biden's inauguration, they began to flash the green light to Central Americans. Essentially, it was bienvenidos. I mean, we knew, right, how to restore the border, restore order there, close it down, because Trump did it. But Biden did the opposite. He ditched the Remain in Mexico policy and put Kamala in charge. If there was ever a sign that the White House never intended to enforce our border, that was it. Another clue that this was intentional, Biden and his crew have made it abundantly clear that they think America has a terrible past that informs our present.
Racism is an American problem. It gets reflected in discrimination in housing, in employment, in the justice system.
Racism is real in America, and it has always been. Xenophobia is real in America, and always has been. Sexism, too.
Original sin of slavery weaved white supremacy into our founding documents and principles.
Now, if America is truly systemically racist, after Brown versus Board of Education, after the Civil Rights Movement, after the election of the first black president, 2 times, how can the system that's that corrupt after all of that be saved at all? Well, the answer from the left is it can't be saved. They hate our Constitution, they hate our Judeo-Christian tradition, they hate capitalism, and they now believe it needs to be reset, courtesy of George Soros. Now, the reset, which they've discussed ad nauseum on college campuses and at Davos, requires a complete reordering of all of society, but especially American society. That means things like no more employment, no more jobs based on objective criteria or merit.
In the 232-year history of the U.S. Department of Treasury to hold that position.
She's making history. First black woman, first openly gay.
The member of the Biden administration, the first openly trans assistant secretary for health.
You get the point. The Biden cabinet, top staff, they're presiding over one nightmare after another. They offer no solutions, only actions that make matters worse. But they're firsts, so we all should just forget about the failures. So an administration that was focused on truly serving the American people, truly improving their standard of living and safety, they would have canned Yellen at Treasury, Mayorkas, Austin at the Pentagon, Granholm at Energy, Buttigieg from Transportation. They would have been fired months ago. So it leads us to the only sensible conclusion. Their goal is our decline. But today, inflation that, Yellen ignored, well, it has the markets down to its lowest point since November 2020.
I believe there is a path through this that can succeed in bringing down inflation while also maintaining what I think all of us would regard as a strong labor market.
Oh my God, how is she even employed? The supply chain that Mayor Pete was supposed to address, it's still messed up.
Over $1.5 billion going into grant awards across the country announced today to build that world-leading transportation system, strengthen supply chains, create jobs, advance equity, and improve economic opportunity.
And China's on the move in South and Central America, and even funding Russia's war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, John Kerry, the climate czar, is left begging China to keep focusing on climate change.
What can be done about China? Their seeming reluctance to participate in affairs of climate control that other nations?
Well, China, interestingly enough, China has a plan. More electric vehicles will be put on the road over the next year or so in China than in all the rest of the world put together.
Okay, you get the drift here. America is humiliated. That clip from John Kerry is an example of our humiliation. We're poorer and we're weaker. And it's just the way the left loves it. Because they want to create as many wards of the state as they can, as many people dependent on the government as they can. Why do you think the left-wing governors refused to open during COVID when it was obvious they could? Because what, they cared more about families and young people? Please, they didn't care about the families of the young people. This was all about setting the stage for the new normal. A new normal when you would have less freedom, less travel, a lower standard of living, lowered expectations. Now remember, when global elites are in power, they'll always find an excuse to take away your freedom. Under Bush, it was 9/11 and the Patriot Act. Of course, the pandemic, the lockdowns, and big tech censorship. Then it was January 6th and the DOJ's domestic terror focus. And now, of course, they cite climate change. They'll ban gas-powered cars, gas appliances, and cause energy prices to skyrocket. Remember, through all of this, to them, we're the real threat, and they feel that they need to restrain us. This is why they're so threatened by people like Giorgia Meloni, the new Italian prime minister. She's warning her citizens not to fall for this domination play of the left. She wants Italian schools to teach not to turn students against their parents or their culture. And what really unnerves them is that she actually quotes G.K. Chesterton.
Scriveva Chesterton ormai più di un secolo fa: fuochi verranno attizzati per dimostrare che 2 più 2 fa 4. Spade verranno sguainate per dimostrare che le foglie sono verdi in estate. Quel tempo è arrivato, signori. Siamo pronti.
She's fearless, she's forthright, and she's well-spoken. A triple threat. Now, like her, we all must refuse to live in the left's liberal dictatorship of ideas. We have to realize that none of this, none of what you're seeing happening around you, the bad stuff, is happening by accident. Because the left is busy. They got busy creating the America that they want. one that's run by a small sliver of rich people who float above it all, and then a lot of poor people who depend on government services, and just a tiny middle class who never really get ahead. So this election coming up is our chance to say hell no to these devious plans, and heck yeah to our plan to leave no state behind. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.